Finally somebody teaches Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez how the real world works. Of course, it had to be a comic book publisher, but at least somebody did it. So, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has this comic that came out called Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Freedom Fighters, New Party, Who Dis? Who the fuck thought of that? Why did you do that? I thought Kwanzaa was trying too hard, but AOC, you proved me wrong. Time and time again. Outdoing Sarah Palin, now you're outdoing Fake Holiday. This was published by Devil's Due. I know some of the folks there. Seriously, who thought this was a good title? I'm betting it's what AOC asked for, but y'all are publishing the book. You should have told her the title sucked. I get that she's not gonna listen to you. Nothing's getting through that skull jelly, but you should have tried. So what happened is that Devil's Due intended to publish this variant cover showing AOC dressed as Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's a bad cover. It's too dark, too muted, too boring, but did a great job on capturing AOC's vacant stare. You truly immortalize the emptiness in her head. Jesus Christ, the CG characters from the Lawnmower Man had less lifeless stares than this shit. There are mannequins in Macy's that look like they're about to breathe, and this shit is just like, oh my god. Uncanny Valley my ass, this shit is a fucking black hole. Again, who saw this and thought it'd make a good cover? Are you just trying to make sure nobody buys the book? I mean, one person did. Doug Ernst, he got it and reviewed it. Thanks for taking the hit. Better you than me. Go check out his video because it is a thing to behold. This comic is unbelievably bad. Basically, imagine everything that My Hero Macadamia did and then suck at it. Back to this cover though. Obviously, this ain't gonna fly. Everyone working at Devil's Due has to know this, so I can only assume that this variant was done to get DC Comics to respond like they did, by slapping Devil's Due with a cease and desist order. The complaint is that the image bears too close a resemblance to Wonder Woman, which is an understatement. AOC's dressed exactly like Wonder Woman, but she just changed the two W's to an A. There's no other change except that she doesn't have the lasso, because that would brighten up the picture, and there's no tiara. But other than that, it's the same shit. Now here's the thing, there were only going to be 250 copies printed, because it's a variant. But DC is going hardcore on this. They don't just want it not distributed, but they want it recalled, returned, or destroyed. I mean, they're going full Al Pacino, like,
burn this. This must never be seen by anyone. All copies. Destroy them.
You want me to play it again?
Has anybody seen this?
Nobody has seen this.
They have to be found and talked to.
And who can blame them? I mean, look at it. By the time you're done, you're like, indelible in the hippocampus is the vacant stare of a crazy socialist. I'm not really crying. I'm just talking like this so you believe the bullshit coming out of my mouth. The part that gets me is that there's already this variant cover where AOC looks similar to Wonder Woman without infringing on DC's copyright and trademark. So why didn't Devil's Due just use that design? Again, I think it's because they wanted a reaction from DC Comics because that gets them in the news. No one is talking about this comic. It's pretty much being ignored even by the far lefties in the geek media. But with this cease and desist order, not only is it getting mainstream media attention, but the books that do manage to get sold with this now banned cover will spike in value. Most of that money will never go to Devil's Due, but it will put them on people's radar. There's a potential that other far-left politicians may come to them to do a comic. There's also the potential that far lefties in general may check out Devil's Due's comics just because of this. Maybe that's a little too 4D chess, but I wouldn't put it past Devil's Due to try that. Now, on the serious side, this should serve as a lesson to people about how litigious DC Comics and Marvel are when it comes to their characters. You try anything close enough to allow these two to sue you, and they will. That's how this works. You have to be very careful about what you do as an homage or a parody or a satire, because even if those are supposed to be protected by the law, there's more than enough wiggle room for the big two to come in and just fuck up whatever you're doing. This is also another thing people should keep in mind when they want to do fan comics. Depending on the state, the law may protect you from being sued just because you created the fan fiction, but if you try to sell it, that's a different story. You can totally be sued, and the law is not on your side, and that's not accounting for any federal infringement laws that you might run up against. Even if you're only making a handful of copies and only sold them to your friends, the fact that you made money off it could get you sued. Don't take my word for it, just ask Sean Gordon Murphy about it, because Marvel did that to him about 10 years ago. The laws are tricky enough that if, for example, someone were to make a fan comic about Superman or the X-Men and just posted it online, no one has to pay for anything, but then they promoted the comic on a YouTube video that was monetized, they could be sued or receive a cease and desist order. So you're not actually making money from the comic, but you are making money from talking about the comic, so they can ask for that cash. I know that sounds fucked up, and it is, but it's also the law, and it's not on your side. So be very careful when you do stuff like that, because if these companies want to come after you, they can. On the flip side, I say make the damn comic and make it better than anything that they're publishing. That way, when they force you to pull the comic or the art, you can always say they're just doing it because they're mad that you did it better than they did. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.